Hi, this is Ryan from Finale Inventory, and today we're going to be discussing some of the pre-order tools that Finale Inventory has. So let's jump right in. The very first thing we're going to do is go over to our stock page, and we're going to see that I'm already filtered down to a blue polo shirt. Right now we have nothing on hand, nothing available, and no on-order units at this point. So if we were to scroll down to our store section for this blue polo shirt, we can see that right now we're pushing 0 to all of our stores, which are, in this case, a Shopify, an Amazon, and a Magento. So the first tool that we're going to discuss is a supplier quantity. So once we add a supplier quantity of 100, for example, we are going to be able to limit the sales for the marketplace. So this is us telling our selling channels that we only have 100 units to sell. So when we go down to our store section, we can ultimately see that we have 100 units on hand at this point in terms of a supplier quantity available, so we can limit that sale. So let's jump in and take a look at what happens when we receive a sale from the marketplace. So let's go over to our selling. We're going to go over to our sales orders, and then we're going to open the first sale up, which is the 102,204. So this is for our blue polo shirt here, and we do have 20 units on this actual sale here, and this is going to be a reservation once we commit this order. If you are doing online sales, your sales order will come down in a committed status already, and this is a step that you will not need to do. So once we actually click this button here, now we have reserved the inventory, and let's take a look at what happens on the next screen. So when we come into our view stock again, what we can see is that we still have nothing on hand, but we do have taken in some 20 units of reservations. And if we were to open up our blue polo shirt here and scroll down to our store section, we can see that we have received a sale for 20 and we are pushing back 80 to the marketplace. So again, this is a way that we can limit our sales for the actual marketplace itself. This is the first tool that we discussed for pre-ordering. Now, the second one that we're going to jump into is on-order units. Now, to do that, what I'm going to do is go over here and I'm going to remove my supplier one quantity. And in addition to that, I am going to go over to a sales order page here and I am going to mark this as editable again. So at this point, what we can see, and when I go back over to my stock page, is that we still have no quantity on hand, 0 reservations at this point because I removed it, and we are pushing a 0 again to the actual stores. So let's go ahead and commit a purchase order that I've already created here. So if I open this up, we have a purchase order for 100 units, and let's just say we're going to mark this committed, which means this is on order with our supplier. So when I open up the view stock page again, what I'm going to see is that we have 100 on order units. And if I was to jump into this sale, or product details rather, what we'll see is that we're still pushing 0 to the marketplace. Well, this is something that we need to change our base quantity field of what we are pushing. By default of this account, I am pushing remaining after reservations, but the second that I add available to promise, which includes on-order units, what I can see is that I'm now pushing 100 units to Shopify. Again, this is a way that we can limit the sales of the marketplace. So once I save this, same thing applies. Let's jump into our sales order, and what I'll do is I'll commit that very same order, which is the 102,204 for the 20 units. So once I commit that and jump back to my stock page here, what I'm going to see is that I have reservations of that 20 again, and when I open the product details, I can see that I'm pushing 80 back to the marketplace. So that is the pre-order tool number 2, is using on-order units and pushing an available to promise quantity to our actual marketplace. Now, I'm going to switch this back to the default. I'm going to come over to my purchase orders, and I'm going to mark this as editable again. So at this point, if you notice, I didn't go over to my sales order page, and what I've done is I've left that reservation for the blue polo shirt there. So what that means to us is that, hey, we can still accept sales as long as your marketplace is set to sell when you are having a 0 for your actual selling channel. We can continue to take reservations in, which is, if you have an unlimited amount of pre-orders, then we can have an unlimited amount of reservations, and then all you would do is place your purchase order and you would fulfill that order as usual when you're doing your receiving. So that is our pre-order tools. I'm going to recap them. Number 1 is using a supplier quantity. Number 2 is using on-order units but pushing an available base quantity field. And then lastly is simply just driving your available quantity into the negative by accepting reservations. And when you're done all of your reservations, or when you are ready to place that purchase order, you can do so and place it for the amount of sales that you have. Now, I hope this was helpful. If you do have any questions, please let us know. We're happy to answer any of them. You can email service@finaleinventory.com. Thank you so much for your time.